But we'll moving forward. Our next presentation is by Gururaj, who has presented yesterday on the topic of three doshas, and today he is giving a lecture about meridians interpretation. So let's give him the word, and well, if any questions arise, you can always write in the chat, and people can, and the presenters can reply later on. Okay, so let's continue.
Hello everyone, I am Gururaj from Meridian Foundation, India. And the topic which I'll be discussing today would be meridian interpretation through Bible. So I'll be using a Bible device, and based on the reports, what I get after a Bible scan, we'll try to understand those reports with the help of the knowledge on meridians. Dear friends, in my previous lecture, I showed you how the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha can be derived. The deviation of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha can be derived from a Bible report. That is depending on the scans which we take through the fingers only. There is no additional part which was involved in that. Now let's assume for the time being that we do not know anything about meridians. There is no knowledge on meridians, and I'm using a Bible device. I'm using a Bible device in my clinical practice. So we will understand this complete 1 hour session on meridians in a practical way, in a practical manner. What exactly happens in a clinic? What exactly are the reports we get, and how do you decode these reports so that it can give you some information in regarding with the symptoms of the patient, the chief complaint of the patient. So let's assume that we at present do not have any knowledge on meridians, and then we make a Bible scan of a patient. Okay, so I have chosen a particular patient for a reason, right? Now in this particular case, what was the chief complaint? The chief complaint of this patient was that he had severe weakness. There was fever. Yeah, some signs of inflammation, you can say. There was fever. And above all, he had tremendous and severe headache. The appetite had decreased. He was not able to sleep. His sleep was disturbed. So these were among the few chief complaints what the patient came to us for in our clinic. Then we immediately made a Bible scan. We took the Bible scan of the 10 fingers. And in the Bible scan, in the report, immediately we started looking into all the tabs. Okay, so here I see the energy field. The energy field in the head area is fine. There is no much discontinuity which I can see there. So the energy or the glow, what the finger sectors have given are pretty much normal. There's nothing much abnormality about it, and overall energy of 50 joules is fine for the individual. So why is he complaining of weakness? Why is there a symptom of weakness? Why does he have fever? And he had constant migraine, or you can say a single-sided headache, which shifted from right to left or so. So I was not able to see that, detect that in the Bible. Then I went into the area diagram. Area diagram was pretty normal. You know, it was pretty normal in the green territory, in the green part, very few one which deviated out, that is spine thorax, the throat area, thyroid, throat and larynx area, and of course your respiratory system. I can see there was some deviation on the left side, and similarly some deviation, very minimal deviation seen on the right hand as well. Now you see, looking at this report, we can say that the HS integral parameter of this individual is 0.21 and 0.14, very much near to 0.3, which is a normal value, which is optimal value, isn't it? So we will say that this health condition of this particular individual is optimal. But he has a symptom. He has a problem. He has come to me because he has a problem. And I am trying to figure out where in Bible am I going to look in for that. I have a normal Bible scan of this individual. I come into energy diagram. And in the energy diagram, I also superimpose the area diagram just to find out if there is any indication which I am going to get. Not much. Everything seems to be normal, with slight ups and downs in few sectors, but overall, it seems to be very, very normal. This is where, dear friends, the knowledge of meridians comes into picture. You know that every sector of a finger is associated with acupoint, and that acupoint is connected with one or the other meridians in the body. Now, before we proceed further, till now, we have seen the report, we have seen the tabs in accordance with our knowledge of the medical part of it, or you can say our routine practice in bio, right? And obviously, we look into the balance, we look into the organs energy. Fantastic. Okay, everything is green. It's green. It's very good. Excepting for an imbalance in nervous system, I find everything seems to be in green. So now we will be emphasizing and trying to figure out if Biowell is giving further information about this patient. Has Biowell detected the actual problem in this particular patient through the knowledge of meridians? So now let's learn meridians for some time now, and then come back to this report. Come back to this report and try to study this report with the purview of meridians. And let's find out if Biowell is sensitive enough and is it accurate enough to give me the results. Right. So let's proceed with the learning of meridians. The meridians, functions, and relationships. Now, you know, human body includes both visible and invisible part. We all know about this, isn't it? It's visible part and invisible part. For example, we all have heart. Heart is a visible organ. If you dissect the body, you are able to look into the heart. The heart is visible. Yes or no? You have the heart, which is a visible part of it. But there is an invisible part of heart. What is that? That is compassion, love. Yeah, can you see anywhere? If you dissect the body, can you see these parameters of the heart? It's not possible. So the invisible part of an organ, which is very subtle, which cannot be seen, which cannot be heard, which can only be felt, you know, comes under the energetic system of the body. It comes under the energetic system of the body. Whereas the visible part comes under the material system of the body. Right? And most of us, you know, we try to find out the problems in the material system. Whereas the actual effect of it, actual changes is seen in the energetic system. And that's why, you know, in traditional Chinese medicine, the concept of meridians was very strong. Yeah. So changes which happened in the meridians did cause a change in the organs, the material system. So the energetic system was able to change the functioning of the material system. Of course, it's a research topic which more and more amount of research is happening in this field. But the fact is that the energetic system is more subtle, more powerful, and this energetic system can depict any change which happens in the material system. So hence we say that, and you know, Albert Zen, we all know about this great man. And what did he say? He told that in every culture and in every medical tradition, before ours means the allopathic system, the tablet system, the pharmaceutical system, healing was accomplished by moving energy, the subtle part of the body. Right? And this movement you can do it in different way. You can do acupressure, acupuncture, you can do a guasa therapy, you can do multiple therapies which are all involved on the energy flow of the body through the channels, through the meridians. Right? So these meridians, the meridians, you know, were responsible in actually maintaining the homeostasis, in actually maintaining the balance in the function of organ system, or organism. So energy circulates in these meridians, and the meridians are responsible in seeing to it that the organ function is normal under given conditions. So meridians not only feed vital energies to the related organs, they also reflect any pathological disturbance in those organs, thus providing a convenient and highly accurate tool for diagnosis as well as for therapy. So this indicates that the vital energy which is required for organ function is supplied by the meridians, and any drop in this energy, any type of deviation from norm of this flow of energy through the meridians will cause a dysfunction of the organs and systems, a stress in an organ and a system. In Ayurveda, we have 6 stages of illness. 6 stages of illness. No organ will get into a disease state overnight. It is not possible, isn't it? So there is a particular pathway through which there is a reduction in the function of the organ, and ultimately when that reduction prolongs for a long period of time, the organ gets into the disease stage. So the 6 levels of disease proliferation in the body, the topmost positions are through the energetic principles, through the meridians. So these meridians are primarily responsible for the functioning of our organs in the body. That's why they are also called as primovascular system, PVS, primovascular system. Definitely, the meridians, as you know, energy travels through our meridian systems and it nourishes, please underline, it nourishes every cell, every tissue, every muscle, every gland, every organ in the body. There is no part of the body which is devoid of meridian energy. Now, if this energy becomes blocked, if this flow of energy is blocked because of multiple reasons, many reasons which may be there in the body. When the energy blockage happens, it causes an imbalance. It causes an imbalance. Imbalance causes a stress in the functioning of the organ. That stress in the functioning of organ results in the pain. And for a long duration of time, if it is not corrected, it may lead to disease. So as water flows continuously through a river network, energy flows through the meridian network in the body. There should not be a blockage. There should not be a stoppage of this flow of energy. Do we get this? So the meridian system is very well established in the human body. Not only human, it's established in the animal kingdom, I can say. You can find the meridian system in horse, dogs. Yeah, they are all very well established texts are available. So these meridians are subtle and sensitive. But unfortunately, there was no device to detect them. There was no device which was formed to detect these meridians. And many people, till very late time now, they thought that it is some imaginary channel. It is not present in the body because unfortunately, when you dissect the body, you cannot see this. You cannot see the channels. You cannot see the meridians. So it was decided that this is some imaginary channel, doesn't exist in the body. It's an imaginary theory given by few people. And ultimately, the whole of TCM, was relying on these particular imaginary lines on the body. Anyway, these imaginary lines, which was initially thought of imaginary lines, are now visible. They are made visible. They can be seen in the body by injecting a special dye, radioisotopes. Radio waves can travel from one part to another part because of this communication between the acupoints. And Dr. Bonghan from Korea has demonstrated that channels do exist. And when you inject a radioisotope in the body with a special dye, they are visible. And as I told you, it is a primovascular system, one of the most effective system which controls even your vascular system in the body. Yeah, and this is what you see, the channels. These are called as the channels of the body. And these channels, if you can see them, these are the channels, different channels in the hand, different channels in the leg, different channels in the abdomen area and the head area. Yeah, no corner of the body is left. Every part of the body is covered by these channels. And these channels are what are called as meridians. And these meridians have a special characteristic, special feature. They are all complete one-way traffic. One-way traffic of energy flow. Energy cannot flow in any direction it wants. There is a defined direction in which the energy will be flowing in these meridians. And depending on the direction of flow of energy, these meridians are divided into two segments, yin and yang. Okay, let's not complicate much. And of course, in our meridian certification classes, we get into the depth of yin and yang, and we teach you what exactly are these yin and yang and how are they going to respond in the body. But for now, let's understand one very important, simple thing. Every yin meridian in the hand, take the energy from the body into the periphery. This is the direction of flow of energy. Got it? And every yang meridian, what is that going to do? The yang meridian brings back this energy which has come to the periphery. It is bringing back that energy back into the body. So you see, one meridian takes in the energy from the body to the hand or periphery. Another meridian brings back this energy from the periphery to the body. So this is what happens in the body. Every alternate passage of energy into your hands and legs is a common feature. You know, you will be looking into these features very, very regularly in meridians. So yin and yang, it's a flow of energy, direction of flow of energy, right? And obviously, depending, when you go in depth, you will also understand that the yin and yang corresponds to the solid and hollow organs in the body. They are connecting to solid and hollow organs in the body. So depending on that, we will be looking into further part. But look at this. The meridian channels which can now be detected in the body. It's a compilation of slides from pioneer researching the meridian system and modern tools. And obviously, if you can observe the blue staining area, which is once you stain a particular area, you are able to look into the points. You are able to look into the meridian channels, which are in very close proximity to your lymphatic ducts, to your blood vessels, and to your vascular neural bundle. They are in very, very close proximity. So what did they do? They inserted a needle at a acupoint, at a given acupoint in the body. A needle was inserted, and then the skin was removed. And when that was done, you see, this is your SP6 point. It's a SP6, P6 point. And when that was done, we can see that this point, this acupoint, is in very close proximity with the vascular neural bundle. We call this as VNB. And vascular neural bundle, in a given place of time, given area, it functions with vascularity and also the neural transmission from the body, from that particular area. So every acupoint was associated with the VNB, vascular neural bundle. And SP6 is no exception. You know, it's one of the major points in our feet, right? So obviously, you know, there are 12 major meridians in the body. How many? We have 12 major meridians. And quickly, before we get into this slide, let me just show you. We have 12 major meridians. And usually in my classes, you know, I put them in a particular order. I will tell you what is the importance of order, because it's very important in diagnosis, right? So what are the 12 major meridians? They're all named after the organs they are connecting with, the primary organs they are connecting with, right? Now, for your understanding, every meridian connects with a primary organ, and also they connect to secondary organ. Now you see, this particular meridian can influence the functioning of primary organ. It can also influence the function of secondary organ. Do we get this? So meridian, we should not be under the assumption that every meridian is going to affect the function of only that particular organ where it's getting connected. No. So the secondary organ plays an important role. I will just show you right now about the internal channels of meridians. Anyway, We have 12 major meridians in the body which are responsible for the functioning of organs and systems. And they are the lung meridian, large intestine, and there is a particular order in which I'll be writing this meridian: the large intestine, the stomach meridian, the spleen, heart meridian, small intestines. Then you have the urinary bladder, and kidney. Of course, associated meridians, you say, the pericardium and triple warmer. They are associated meridians, triple warmer. And of course, you have the gallbladder and liver. Now see, why did I write it in this particular order? This order is very important in meridians. Why? Because when we wake up in the morning, in our dinacharya, in our daily activity, the energy flow in the body happens from lungs to large intestine, from that meridian to stomach meridian, from that to spleen meridian, from spleen to heart to small intestine to urinary bladder to kidney to pericardium to triple warmer to gallbladder to liver, and in the night, the energy goes back to circulation to the lung meridian. So we have a complete cycle of energy which flows like this. And second reason why it's written in this fashion is it tabulates all the yin meridian here and all the yang meridian. And they are depending on the flow of energy in the body, the direction of flow of energy in the body. Right? Now, please pay attention. The lung meridian, the spleen meridian, the heart, kidney, and of course liver, they are all considered to be solid organs. Nothing can be stored in them. Only thing, it will go get processed and out of that organ. You cannot store anything. Whereas all these organs, what we are seeing, the large intestine, stomach, small intestine, urinary bladder, gallbladder, they are meant for storage. So these are called as the hollow organs. You know, just with the knowledge of meridians, you can know whether a particular person is showing up with solid organ problems or hollow organ problems. Now, what is the significance of that? When you talk about a hollow organ, usually it will be acute conditions. Say, for example, I have taken some very spicy food. The spicy food is irritating my small intestine and I have a symptom. And next day morning, I may have a tight motion. There could be a significance of, there could be a problem with constipation. You know, small intestine, large intestine, they're all involved. But if the meridian system is focusing towards the solid organs, then remember, it is a chronic condition. Nobody can have a lung problem in one day. Nobody can have a heart problem in one day. Nobody can have a kidney or liver problem in one day. They are all chronic conditions. That's why it's also called as chronic obstructive pulmonary disorders. Yeah, cardiac arrhythmias. Yeah, atherosclerosis, liver cirrhosis, hypertrophy, hepatomegaly, yeah, nephrotic syndromes. They are all not acute problems, please. They are all chronic problems in the body. And usually, chronic problems are represented by the yin meridian, and acute problems are represented by the yang meridian. It's exactly the same order which you're seeing right now in this particular diagram. Yeah, it's the same order. You see that? The lung, large intestine, stomach and spleen, heart and small intestine, urinary bladder and kidney, and pericardium and trachoma, gallbladder and liver. And any blockage happens anywhere in the meridian, energy flow, as I told you, will lead to pain, discomfort, dysfunction, and dysfunction for a long period of time is going to land up in disease. So, how did all the problems start in the body? It started with the blockage in the meridian energy flow. But unfortunately, it was not detected. There is no equipment to detect this. Hence, it went out, and in the initial stages, you never get a symptom. Symptom is, if I'm not wrong, a fifth level of illness. It comes under the fifth level. But there are still 4 levels above it where you do not have a symptom. Asymptomatic, you do not have a symptom, but there is a weakness in the organ function. Right? And that is where the meridians comes into picture. Of course, the meridians are no different from your Panchamahabhutas. Panchamahabhutas are the ones which are constituting and which are combining to form the control part of the meridians. Every meridian is influenced by the 5 elements. No doubt about it. The fire element influences the heart and small intestine meridian. The fire element also influences the pericardium and trachea or trachoma meridian. Earth element with stomach and spleen meridian. Metal or air element with lung and large intestine meridian. Water element with UB, urinary bladder and kidney meridian. And the wood or the space element with your liver and gallbladder meridian. So you see the 5 elements comes into picture here again. They are the ones which are going to influence the respective meridians in the body. And when there is an imbalance in these 5 elements, there will be an imbalance in the corresponding meridian. And that imbalance in the corresponding meridian is going to get reflected in the functioning of the organ. Right? So this is a very important connection between meridians. And of course, they are also called as bong and ducts in certain scenarios. And it's been now made use of in finding out the pathways for cancer cell metastasis. How is the cancer spreading in the body? The metastasis, how is it happening? So which system to which system it can spread? So it's all being studied now, and only thing what we say is the primovascular system is one of the best known systems as of now in understanding the functioning of the body. And of course, the meridian system is also considered to be the auxiliary respiratory system. The tests, this is some of the scientific papers which are released, which tests have been done where it has been discussed and it has been shown that carbon dioxide can be released out through the meridian system. And this paper, acupuncture meridian of traditional Chinese medical science and auxiliary respiratory system is also found. The effects of acupuncture at heart and kidney meridian on mitochondrial respiratory chain complexes activities in the rat. So, particular study was done. What happened when you activated the heart meridian and the kidney meridian in the rat, which had a problem? And obviously, the conclusion was that the acupuncture or activation of the acupoints on the meridians assists in mitochondrial respiratory chain activity via the cytochrome C oxidase signaling the pathway in heart and kidney of the rats. So it was one of the extensive studies what's happened. So obviously, meridians are the ones which are governing the functioning of the body. So any change in the body, any change in the organ function can be detected in the meridians, right? And obviously, the system is sensitive, it is subtle, so it needs some sophisticated measurements, measuring equipments, yeah. And then one among such equipment, one among such equipment is a biowell. So biowell is a device which can detect and which can give you a measurement of energy flow in individual meridians. Yeah, and we are very happy to say that with lots and lots of patients, what we have looked into, the accuracy in which the biowell records the changes in meridians is very good, excellent. And for us in our practice, we have seen some really interesting findings in biowell. Right now, look, these 12 major meridians, how do they function? It's not that all of the meridians are going to function together. Yeah. And these meridians, they have a certain rule set across the universe. Now, everybody have the same rule. There is no change in the rule, please. And our daily activity, is governed by this chart. And this is called as a biorhythmic chart, which is based on your meridian system. Here you can see all the 12 major meridians: the lung meridian, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart meridian, and small intestine, urinary bladder, kidney. So like this, you see 12 major meridians. You have the timing of action, which means it is from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. that the lung meridian will receive highest energy. There will be maximum flow of energy through the lung meridian from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. What is the meaning of that? It means that this is the time when the meridian influences the organ to have the most efficient function. Most efficient function. And what is the function of a lung meridian? Respiration. That is inducing oxygen and removing the carbon dioxide at the alveoli level. Right? So what happens to the SpO2 in the blood? It increases. That's the reason why early morning you are supposed to wake up. And when you wake up in the early morning, you have good amount of oxygen in the atmosphere, which can easily be absorbed by your lungs. Why? Because the lung meridian is very, very active at that particular time. That's the reason why people who study, they wake up early in the morning, and when you do meditation, when you do study, it's very good. It's easily grasped by the brain because brain has more oxygen. Obviously, these timings are very important in our daily life. And at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., the lung meridian has highest energy. So now you know that the functions of lung meridian is going to be enhanced during this time. Now let's assume that, let's take an example. I'm not going to talk about all the meridians, but at least lung meridian. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that a patient or a person is having some congestion in the lung. For example, there is mucus deposition physically, and this person lung movements are affected. The inhalation and exhalation are affected. As in the case of tuberculosis, what happens? A significant symptom of this particular patient is early morning cough. Tremendous amount of cough with the sputum, which comes in the morning times. Why is that? That is because the lung meridian has higher energy and it's forcing the organ to function efficiently. But unfortunately, the organ is having a problem, so it cannot function, and because of which there is some symptom which the organ is going to give, or the existing symptoms are going to get aggravated. That's why you have early morning cough. Do we get this? Like this, every meridian have their maximum time and their maximum functioning happens during this time. Let me tell you, all of this is enumerated in the BioWell software. If you have keenly observed the BioWell software, you will come to know about all these things. It is already mentioned. The maximum time activation and minimum time activation. What is the meaning of that? Now you see, please pay attention. If lungs is having highest energy at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., there should be some meridian which is having least amount of energy at this particular time. Yes, there should be some meridian which has least amount of time, least amount of energy to function at this particular time. And at this particular time, diagonally opposite meridian. So you draw a diagonally opposite line, and the diagonally opposite meridian, what is that? Urinary bladder meridian has a very least amount of energy during this period. So at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., lung meridian has highest energy, whereas urinary bladder meridian will have least amount of energy. Now you see, every meridian, the energy should be normal. And what is the normal energy in BioWell? It's 4 to 6 joules, we say. 4 to 6 joules. So usually at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., there is a possibility that the lung meridian will be having higher energy. Whereas at the same time, the UB, urinary bladder, will be having least amount of energy. So it will be somewhere. Let me give you an example. There is a complaint of a patient who says that when he wakes up in the morning, maybe around 5:30, 6 o'clock, it is very difficult for him to get up from the cot. He has a severe low back stasis, severe low back pain. He cannot crawl, he cannot rotate or turn even from one side to another on the cot. There is a severe low back problem. Right? Now, early morning, why should he have a low back problem? That is attributed to the urinary bladder meridian, which has the least amount of energy. Now, when you are making a diagnosis, please understand that at every given point of time, any given point of time, there are two meridians which are affected. Any given point of time, you take any time, two meridian will be affected. One meridian with highest energy, one with lowest energy. Do you understand? Now you see. Example I'll give you. At 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Sorry. At 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. You see what happens at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Lung meridian has highest energy. And number two, UB, urinary bladder meridian has least amount of energy. Urinary meridian will have, UB meridian will have least amount of energy. UB is going to have least amount of energy. Which means these two meridians, the lung meridian and the UB meridian, are like a seesaw. Have you seen seesaw? If lung is low, UB energy will be higher. And if UB is coming down, the lung will go higher. it's a balance. It's a balance. The beauty of the body is the lung meridian is associated in the, it's connected, it's an external pathway. Excuse me. Hello, class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಮ್ಮ class ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So the lung meridian is external pathway of a lung meridian runs in the hand, whereas the external pathway of the urinary bladder meridian runs in the feet, across, right from the head back, and ultimately it gets into the legs, in the feet, which means both the peripheries, the hand and the feet, are always connected. Right? And this is not just with lung and urinary bladder. It is true with all the other 11 meridians. Right? Now, let's look at the reverse of this. That is at 12 hours from 3 a.m. What is that? 3 p.m. From 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Okay? From 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Again, what happens? At this time, urinary bladder meridian will have the highest energy. Look at this here. Urinary bladder meridian is having highest energy. And who is having lowest energy? It is the lung meridian. The lung meridian has lowest energy. So the oxygen concentration in the body is decreased from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Do we get this? And every day it is decreased from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. That is why most of the therapists and most of the people in science, they follow what is called as a power nap. Power nap is to be taken for 15 to 20 minutes in the afternoon, and usually the timing is 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It is very good for rejuvenating of the energy in the body. Right? And you can read the advantages of power nap in Google. You have different topics on that. You can please go ahead. But this is what is the science. Right? And luckily, in BioWell, we are able to detect all of this. Every parameter of this is detected in BioWell. Do we get this? And then, obviously, not just with physiological association, the meridians are connected even with the psycho-emotional state of an individual. So the psycho-emotional states of every different element, the effect of influence of every different element on the psychology of an individual is known, and it's connected with the meridians part. Now you see the same meridians I demonstrated on the other day in my previous lecture, that they are nothing but the same ones which are connecting with Vata, Pitta and Kapha in Ayurveda. Right? Now we have some knowledge. Let's assume that in I need to get back to biology. Now we have some knowledge in meridians. Now we understand, yes, there is a meridian system which runs in the body, which is very subtle but very sensitive, very powerful, and that's the one which is controlling the functioning of organs and systems. And there are plenty of systems which are connected with these meridians. So in BioWell, where do you find this? You find this in the Yin-Yang tab. There is one tab called as Yin-Yang tab. You click on the Yin-Yang tab and you're going to find all the names of these 12 major meridians in the same order which I had written. You see there? Lungs, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, urinary bladder, kidney, pericardium, chupwama, gallbladder, and liver. Same order. And whatever timings which I mentioned to you, whichever timings I mentioned, see, it's provided here in the bottom. You please read this. Okay, it's provided for every meridian. It is already provided in BioWell. Now, This particular patient, we have come back to the same patient. We have come back to the same patient with which we started. Okay, this particular individual had severe headache, migraine, weakness, yeah, fever, a sign of inflammation, and of course, appetite was changed. He was not able to take a lot of food. Weakness was there. And then we did a biowell, but till this tab, we were finding everything to be fine. It's okay. It's a chakras alignment is also very good. It's pretty much good alignment. So we are finding everything to be normal here. But when you come to yin yang, the story changes. What happened in yin yang? There are two rules which I follow in my clinical practice. Right? Rule number one. What is it? Especially when you are doing with meridians, you are going to have 10% deviation in energy from left finger to right finger. Beyond 10%, if it is greater than 10% deviation, I term this as imbalanced meridian. There is a imbalanced flow of energy in the meridian. Greater than 10% deviation. Right? And anything less than 4 joules and anything above 6 joules. Anything above 6 joules is considered to be a congestion. And anything below 4 joules is considered to be depletion. I told you, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., lungs will have highest energy. There is a possibility that you will have readings somewhere nearing to 6, 5.7, 5.6, 5.8. There is a possibility of that. And it can also go beyond 6 because you know that naturally the energy levels in the meridian is high at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Right? For that, the timing at which you are going to take the scan is very, very important. What time are you going to take the scan? That particular time, which meridian is having highest energy? Say, for example, here, I'm taking the scan at 12:26 p.m. Okay, if you correct it with the solar time, it's not my clock time, it's a solar time. Okay, if I connect it with solar time, we are 26 minutes ahead. So it is exactly at 12 noon, what I'm going to take 12 noon solar time, or when I've taken this Bible scan, at 12 noon, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is the heart meridian which will have highest energy and gallbladder meridian which is going to have the least amount of energy from the clock. Right? So timing of scan is equally important. That's why I suggest whenever you are making a comparison scans, say for example, you take a particular patient and that particular patient's today's record, tomorrow's record, day after tomorrow's record, and the subsequent records what you're going to take, please see to it that you're taking the scans at the same interval. There is no point in taking one scan at 12 p.m. and one scan in the morning at 9 p.m., 9 a.m., in the night at 9 p.m. Meridian-wise, the meaning changes. Okay, they should be of same time. Now let's get back to this. Any deviation which is greater than 10% from left to right, we consider that as a imbalance, and any energy above 6 joules, we consider it as congestion, and any energy less than 4 joules, we consider it as depletion. Right? Now, in this particular chart, I find everything in green. Everything in green excepting the liver meridian. Yeah, the liver meridian is showing some signs of congestion. Yellow means higher energy. So let me come to liver meridian now. In the liver meridian, you see left side energy is showing at 5.98. and right side energy is showing at 6.7. Yeah, of course. What is the difference? Difference is around about 0.8 joules, which is beyond 10%. So we say that the liver meridian is not just congested, it is also imbalanced. It's also imbalanced. Now you will say, sir, in the diagram, I see that the liver meridian is shown from here to here. Okay, this is called as an external pathway of a liver meridian. External pathway of a liver meridian. And let me tell you, liver meridian, if it is congested or if it is having any changes, it is one of the main symptoms of liver meridian is headache. Dominant headache. Yeah, but you will see that in diagram, it's not going to the head at all. Isn't it? You see, it's just stopping at the liver point there. From the toe to liver point, it's stopping. Then how do we consider this as a meridian which is going to cause a headache? For that, you should know what is an internal pathway. What you're right now seeing is a external pathway. Okay, what you just now saw in Bible was an external pathway. And what is an internal pathway? A meridian which runs inside the viscera, inside the body, connecting different systems, different organs. Yeah, and the liver meridian, you see, makes a tremendous amount of journey across in the thorax area and in the head area. That's why liver meridian is connected with headache. Do we get this? It is with the internal pathway of a meridian. So every meridian has a external pathway and an internal pathway. And the internal pathway is more connected with the organs and systems, and it's going to give the functional variations of the organs and systems. So this individual, he has a migraine, he has a migraine, history of migraine, because of the change in the liver meridian. Because of change in the liver meridian. Now, what are the things associated with liver meridian? Lack of sleep, loss of appetite, bloating. Yeah, these are all the physical phenomena which you can have. Sometimes, of course, swelling, edema, ascites, what we call it as. They're all complications of liver dysfunction. And this gentleman is having few symptoms which are connected there. Severe headache, which he finds it very difficult to control. Loss of appetite, lack of sleep, irritation, irritability. He gets very easily irritated, this individual. Okay, and now I am not saying all this. It's already documented in Bible there. It's already written. So you see, feelings of frustration, rage, anger, as well as irritability. It's a common psychological reaction of a body when the liver meridian is affected. So dear friends, when we look into the yin-yang tab, we were able to easily find out where the weakness is. And where is the weakness? The weakness is in the liver meridian. So we are going to ultimately give a solution based on the meridians which are affected here. And I will be giving the solution based on the liver meridian principles. But how about other symptoms he has? He has fever. Where will you look for fever? Fever is associated with inflammations or infections in the body. And usually, inflammations and infections are seen in the spleen meridian. they are looked forward in the spleen meridian. So when you come to spleen meridian, you see this is the external pathway of the spleen meridian. What you're seeing in the diagram here is an external pathway of the spleen meridian. An internal pathway connects with the stomach and the reproductive organs. Let's look into the spleen meridian. On the whole, you see they are in green. Fine. Let's look at individual energy there. Left side energy 4.47 joules, right side energy 5.44 joules. Though the average is well within the normal range, individually the two energies are imbalanced. So if you say 4.47 and 5.44, nearly a difference of 1 joule. Yeah, and this is beyond 10%. So we say that there could be a meridian imbalance, though energy flow is good, is normal in both the meridians, but there is an imbalance in the energy circulation. And this imbalance in the energy circulation might be because of demand in some of the organs which are fighting in the inflammation or infection part of it. Right? And similarly, we can look into all the other organs and systems. So when you do a diagnosis in meridians, so we are following a particular order and we follow a particular formula. Please look at this. Just now I told you the lung meridian and the UB meridian are always in the type of seesaw. If lung meridian is high, if lung meridian is low, UB will be high at any given point of time. These both are always, having energy contrasts, energy changes. So if lung meridian is having low energy, UB will have high. If UB is having high, lung will have low. Correct? Now, lung cannot be separated from the large intestine. Why? These are the yin and yang relationship between lungs and large intestine. Lung is a yin meridian, large intestine is a yang meridian. It cannot be separated. It is always internally connected. If I can show you the lung meridian quickly, I will just take a few more minutes, please. So, quickly, I'll just show you the lung meridian. Okay, so where is lung meridian? Yeah, please look into this diagram. You see here, this is external pathway of a lung meridian. External pathway of a lung meridian. Do we get this? External pathway of a lung meridian. But look at the dotted line there. The dotted line is the internal pathway of a lung meridian. And you see where it's going and starting. It starts from the large intestine. So internally, the lung meridian is always influencing the large intestine, which means that these two are inseparable. You cannot separate them. Similarly, if you see I think I'll have to write it again. Anyway, the lung meridian is always, influenced. These two are always, influenced by each other's energy system. If one is high, one is low, another one will be high. And lung cannot be separated from large intestines. Similarly, UB cannot be separated from kidney. So, what do you have? At a given point of time, at any given point of time, initially I told 2 meridians are affected. Yes, and these 2 affected meridians influence another 2 meridians. That's why we talk about a quadra in meridians. So that's why whenever we are looking at a meridian diagnosis, we look at 4 meridians at a time which are interconnected. These are the meridians which are interconnected: lung, UB, LI, and KI. Similarly, the second one will be with your stomach, which cannot be separated from spleen, and stomach is always, the PC, and which cannot be separated from triple R. This forms the second one, and the last one would be your heart, very important, which cannot be separated from small intestines, and ultimately the heart energy is always, in change with the GB energy, and you have GB which cannot be separated from liver. So ultimately, we have 3 quadrants where our diagnosis will be placed. So you will look into the viable chart, you'll find out how is the lung energy, how is the large intestine, how is the kidney, how is the UV, fine. How is the stomach, pericardium, spleen, and triple armor, find out, and then mark them. And then you find out which quadra is having more amount of imbalances. That symptom will be present in the patient. Right? So biowell gives us the initial data to do with this. Right? Similarly, I will show you one very interesting ECG. Yeah, quickly, we'll look at one ECG. Quickly, we look at an ECG. So, sorry, I'm just searching for that. I'm just opening up the ECG. Okay. So it should be open. Just waiting for it to open. Okay, I think it's taking a bit of time. So let's not waste time, and we proceed with our checking here. See, whenever you're looking for such changes in the meridians, okay, so always look into the changes in the meridians, and with the use of quadra, you will be able to do the better analysis of a particular case. Let me show you one more case quickly. And this particular patient initially came with a lot of weakness. You can see the depletion in the energies in multiple channels in yin yang when we looked into. And of course, it was in heart meridian imbalance, urinary bladder imbalance with a drop in energy in the stomach. Whenever stomach meridian has drop in energy, you will have weakness. Okay, you will have the particular generalized weakness, what we call in the body. Then after therapy, we took another scan and see what happened. The meridian system balanced, right? It's a subtle energy which can be easily balanced by our therapies, right? By our therapies. Hence, one of the most important and striking features what we get in biowell is to use the meridians. And in meridians, in briefly, I've shown you how we perform the interpretation using the Bible software and through the meridians, which gives us more accurate results in regarding with the patient's symptoms and functions. Of course, we conduct professional courses in meridians for you to understand in-depth knowledge of meridian diagnosis. So that's it from now, from me now about the meridian interpretation. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, finally. Well, before this time, the meridian interpretation was mostly available only for those who just pass the special training by Gururaj, but finally I was able to invite him to give a speech. So in fact, what we are saying in our seminars at BioWell is that the more systems of knowledge you know about the person, better will be your interpretation of BioWell scans. And of course, the meridian system is one of the best in the world and the most profound one. So thanks to this lecture by Gururaj, I think we will post it everywhere in our manuals. Like if you want to do the Yin-Yang interpretation, you have to watch this presentation by Gururaj. So, but of course, in order to increase the knowledge, it's better to pass the official training with him, full day classes, so you will get better understanding. Well, of course, as he has shown in his presentation, that to correlate the symptoms in the person with the readings in the BioWell, even though that it may seem that everything is normal and green and absolutely good, with the use of the meridians interpretation, it becomes more obvious and easy to do. So my recommendation to watch, conspect, write the log of the new things from this lecture and rewatch it again.